What's up, guys? This is Geki, and I'm gonna go over a match between Litebrite and another person. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna pause as I go through it and just make notes as I can. If you have any questions about what I said or any comments, contradictions, whatever, just leave a comment down below. All right, thanks, guys. Here we go.
I'll show you the epitome of cute. Alright, by the way, folks, this is my first stream as a Twitch.
So it's gonna be Ken versus Vega. Now she's told me that that basically she was getting like whiff punished a lot. So let's see what we can do about that. Improve her game.
Fight. Oh, alright.
I don't like the rolls. The rolls are pretty risky because if they dash forward and then block, you're gonna get punished really hard. Because the light kick roll is -6, and you build a little bit of meter, but honestly it's not worth the risk, especially against a character like Ken, that in one combo he can just corner carry you. So I'd say just avoid that.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, like the first one, maybe because you were further away, but this second one you did was definitely not a good idea. You got really lucky that they didn't punish. You have the corner though, which is good, but you just did it in a way that was artificial. Because a better player would just punish you, and he would block one and then knock you out of it. Just to be careful.
Trying to get these going here.
I like the pokes. I like that you're poking. I don't understand why you're light kick rolling. It's very, very unsafe. I understand the mentality. Like if this is what you're thinking, if the player is not punishing these things, you can keep doing it again and again until they punish, right? But I feel like it's just a bad habit, even though it may be working. But if this is just a one-off situation, you can let me know. But if you definitely do this more than in one matchup, this is why you're losing. Or you might be winning that way too. Depends on who you're fighting, right?
Okay, nice rolling crystal flash out of Vega. Oh,
Okay, that was a combo.
look at this corner pressure out of Litebrite.
Okay, here's a combo. So you didn't check the jump out, right? You weren't ready for him to do that. Because people, when they're cornered, they're typically going to get away, right? Here, so let's go a little bit back.
Okay, nice rolling crystal flash.
Okay, so you
out of
checked
Vega.
him,
Oh,
and now he's scared, right? He's
look
cornered.
at this corner pressure out of Litebrite.
And you gave him space, but you didn't. You could have jumped back air throw, or since you were in claw stance, you could have done the motion for heavy punch spin edge to anti-air, and then just get him back into the corner, which is the point, right? Once you corner a character with Vega, you want to keep him there, and Vega has really good options to keep them cornered if you can read it in time. Okay? Yeah, and you're gonna eat this.
On the other
Okay,
hand,
good
both
tech.
knives show
A little
you what
risky.
exactly can
Okay,
happen.
but nice. I like that you did the wall dive to get out of the corner, and then you got pressure and put him back in the corner. So that was good.
When you hit things.
But against some people, though, you got to be careful because Ken and other characters have really good ways of like beating that if you try to use that wall dive to get out of the corner, because their crouch fierce hitbox is very, very strong, and even if you go to the other side of them, it'll still autocorrect well. So just be careful of that, okay?
Oh.
But at the end of the day, the important thing is you're out of the corner, and that's what counts. Okay?
Ducked out of the way of that throw that could have been super whiff punishable.
Oh, I really want to know what these rules are doing. Like, why? What made you think it would work? And I mean, it's working because he's literally not punishing a single one. He's not even trying. I don't know if is he on tilt or something. Like, I'm not sure. It's just I've never seen an abuse of light kick roll. It reminds me of like the beta, when like you could just roll forever and no one knew it was punishable. And then when people figured it out, they would start hitting you, and then you're like, okay, well, there goes that strategy. But you're apparently living it.
Nice
Okay,
anti-air
anti-air, dude.
cross under into a hard DP.
I noticed you delay get up quite a bit. That was 2 times I noticed where you delayed get up when I thought a better option would be to quick rise. But you teched as well. I would be wary of teching on wake up against a Ken player or someone with a good shimmy, like Ken, Karen, Akuma, like anyone in neutral like that, because it'll just put you in the guessing game again. In mid screen though, if you take a throw against some of these characters, you're basically out of the situation and they can't really follow up with the same option, right? So you're pretty okay if you take a throw. Akuma not so much because Akuma does have better Oki after a throw. But Ken you typically want to block unless you have a hard read on their throw. You can often like delay tech or backdash. A backdash is usually a better option because if you get hit, either you will get crush countered but you'll land, or you'll get air reset, or you'll just get out of the throw altogether. And if you get air reset, you can hit their button that they use after the crush counter normal. So if Ken goes stand heavy punch to crush counter, and then he does, let's say, run into something, you can check the run early because you're flipping out of the air, and whatever he does after won't hit, right? So keep that in mind.
Oh, oh.
Oh, that was input. I think you did input error, but then I think the super was intentional. So yeah, don't use super raw like that. You might trick someone, but in a game like in a fighting game at like higher levels, tricking someone is not long term. You know what I mean? And not only that, you're giving up. If you look at the bar here, right? He has full meter basically, right? After he blocks this, he's pretty much gonna have full meter, and he has full V trigger very very soon. You have V trigger, but you just burn your entire super for a chance to trick them. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have done this at all. There was no punishment or I would say reason to do this other than trickery, which is not long term, like I said.
Golden Knights testing the highs
And he blocked, and he failed the punish, so that was lucky on your part. But if I did this to anyone in my scene, I would get punished super hard, like V combo into V trigger into super or whatever, because he could definitely kill you with the amount of life you have, right? Just be very careful.
Oh, unable to.
And no punish, because that Tatsu is -4 on block. You could definitely slide at that range, or at least dash up throw just to get some pressure started. You back off though. I think because you just realized like you didn't punish and then you just kind of hesitated. But now you're almost in the corner and Ken is like near full resources. So I want to see what you do next.
Exploit the. Oh,
Okay,
nice.
you kind of reset the neutral. I wouldn't have done that. You could have just walked, done a safe walk, and then challenged with like a medium punch or something like that.
Attempt at the air to air. Oh, crush counter.
Okay.
Got her. Corner mix up. Is gonna kill? Yes, it will.
Yeah, I think that was just a guess. You had to guess because you were in the corner, right? You got crush countered.
All right, here we go. Litebrite needing to change up her strat. Oh,
Okay, that was a good slide. Again, the light kick rolls definitely drop that habit. You're using crouch medium punch, but you can also use stand medium punch into crouch medium punch, and you can use a few more after you do a light punch or a medium punch claw, stand medium punch, and then you go into like a crouch jab. You can buffer into medium punch Aurora spin edge, just to catch them like if they try to chase you or try to check you with a button after that. And plus it does good chip. So you're building Grey Life, you're building chip damage, and you're slowly annoying them, which is kind of the point with Vega in this matchup.
Roundhouse there. Slid in, but no follow-up. Oh!
That was pretty ambiguous. I'll have to give him credit. I might have gotten hit too.
Oh, nice cross up by both nights.
Okay. So now he's got full bar, right? Every time you get knocked down, or you're in a big animation of something, or like super or Tatsu, or you knock them down, or you're like in the air with like an Inzuna drop, check the meter. Because that determines a lot of stuff like what your opponent can do. And usually like when they have super, I would take the throw. Usually. Or I would do like the safest thing that'll beat a throw and, you know, getting out of the corner, for example. Like maybe like a jump, wake up, jump forward. Because if you wake up, jump forward, if you think they're gonna throw or shimmy you, you'll beat both those options. And the best thing they can get is like a hard read air to air or an anti-air on the other side. But if they anti-air you when you've already gone over, then basically you're out of the corner already. So then you're fine. Okay? Okay, you wake up throw. He messes up his meaty, and now you have corner pressure. That was a good choice to do back throw because you want to make sure you switch sides. Okay? So that was good.
He's showing
And the light kick roll. Again, I feel like I should have a counter for this now.
you what a man with a cannon in his chest can really do.
Okay, good setup. Make sure for that setup, the crush counter sweep into wall dive, make sure you're using medium kick, because heavy kick is not a true setup. If they know that you did heavy kick, they can DP you preempt like very easily and like react it when they get up. And some characters can low profile with that as well. For the medium kick one, it's perfect timing when you get up. So if you go for a grab or a hit, it's really, really meaty. And you need a very specific option to beat it. And you have to know which option is coming. Because there's different options for the grab and for the hit. So just make sure you do medium kick, okay? Okay, that was nice. Okay, you got out of it, but you wasted a bar. I didn't think you need to overcommit. Just like be happy you got out of the corner and kind of reestablish your poking game. Because you're winning, right? If you're winning, you don't need to keep checking him and going super aggressive in this match. And not only that, he has full bar. So if you whip something in his face and he is buffering, right? OS buffering, like with the normal into, like let's say like low forward into critical art, he would get you. So you can start at this point, you would start whiffing like light attacks, you know, spin edges, like yeah, when they would be blocked or hit. But I wouldn't say be too aggressive with ASE when a opponent has super, because, you know, you might whiff in their face and they dash up low forward, you know. If you typically though, if you block, you should be fine, but at the same time, don't be too risky, right?
Nice air to air, beating that wall bounce. Ooh.
Oh, see, that was a punish. If he hit a button right there, you would have gotten hit. I want to see you check these cross-up jumps. So what you can, Vega has a few answers. So he has hard punch ASE, Aurora Spin Edge, and because they actually buffed it in season 2, so it actually hits behind Vega, right? So if they jump cross-up and you do it early enough, it'll hit behind or in front. So even if you if it autocorrects somehow, you'll still hit on both sides, so you'll cover it. Another option, if it's too slow, because that is a slower option, what you can do is just neutral jump or jump back air throw, and that has a lot of priority. And usually, because the thing is, for cross-ups to work, they have to jump and then attack late. That's why jump back air throw wins. Jump air throw usually doesn't work if they do an early jump attack, which is a typical normal jump in, right? Especially for a tall character.
Oh,
Okay, he dropped the confirm. Okay, you're gonna have to guess.
Spain, son.
Okay,
Run
nice
on
tech.
Spain.
He's not shimming you, so I don't mind these techs.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
I
it.
think you just
Game one goes
overcommitted
with
there.
it. Spain, son. Run on Spain.
Okay,
Oh,
overhead was a
Spain,
little
son. Run
pointless,
on
I thought.
Spain.
Because
Spain,
usually you do an
son.
overhead to
Run
stun,
on
to
Spain.
kill,
Spain, son. Run on Spain.
to like,
Spain, son.
to
Run on
annoy,
Spain.
but like, you weren't...
Spain, son. Run on Spain. Oh.
I mean, I respect that because you
that's
tried
it.
to mix
Game
them up,
one going to
but I
Boondock.
felt like you had better... There were safer ideas, because you were in the corner, you know? Like, if you're gonna overhead, I think maybe even like a dash-up throw would have been better, you know? But it was an idea. He didn't fall for it, and he just punished you after the fact, so... I definitely don't think he's whiff punishing you, though. He's just, he's punishing you for mistakes, and you're not punishing his mistakes. So eventually the life will lead out
Allen,
to
how you guys doing, bro?
in his favor, right? But yeah, let's see what you do to adjust. mean, he's obviously going to stay
So,
choosing a different
Litebrite
color.
not shying
Okay,
away
okay, I
from,
understand.
her pick. Book Knight's going in full.
That's pretty common to just,
Book Knight's playing lane
take a
tops
second,
with good tech.
change colors, refresh the scene a little bit. I can respect that.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Round 1. Fight.
Okay, and you took off the jacket. That's some tech.
Alright, here we go, here we go.
Okay, and if you notice, if you remembered from the first match, his anti-airs were very good. So for you to jump in at the second match, I could understand, but I wouldn't have taken the risk. Not only that, because Ken's anti-air options are very easy compared to other characters. So you just have to be careful.
Oh!
And these light kicks, right? You're getting whiff punished for whiffing them.
Light kick into Tatsu.
That wasn't a combo. If you did crouch short into crouch jab into light kick roll, that would have worked. I think maybe you were just like, you messed up the hit confirm and you were trying to do maybe 3, but you can only do 3 lights from clawless. For that though, you have to be right up in their face. And usually there's too much scaling, and sometimes there's a lot of pushback, so I still just do 2 because I don't want to, hit the 3 hits, and then when I do light kick roll, it like whiffs and then I get punished for it. So just keep that in mind, okay?
Oh, that was bait.
Oh, you walked in his face. You could have thrown right there because he didn't do anything.
Look at this. Litebrite took the jacket off. Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't like these jumps.
Let that one get in deep before he hit the anti-air. Oh!
I feel like you're frustrated at this point because you can't get in. He's punishing your stuff. You kind of can't get your game plan going, right? And you're not using certain normals to test him. You're not using like Buster Claw at all, like forward heavy punch. You're not using I'm trying to think here. You're not using medium kick as well to check him from getting in. If you're gonna play like this kind of style, I definitely want to see you do crouch jab into medium punch Aurora spin edge, and make sure you don't whiff it in his face. Make sure he blocks it or he gets hit. So basically, when you're using these normals, don't whiff them. Make sure they get hit or blocked. So walk in close to him, and maybe just like walk back and forth to see if he presses buttons. If he's not pressing buttons, you can walk up throw, or you can walk up crouch jab into spin edge just to see what he does, right? And then you adjust accordingly after that.
Oh my God! Anti-air to air.
Okay, that was kind of random. I don't think you should think that crush counter slide was a success. I think you could have, if you did that, you should have done crouch medium kick into a combo or frame trap or whatever it is. Just something that's safer at least, because you're a lot of the stuff you're doing right now is super high risk. Okay. And the thing is, it's super high risk and not that much of a reward.
Since I've been fighting Vegas since 1995. Oh.
Okay. Nice tech. That was good.
He said, "Yo, you're man."
Yeah. That was his answer, like 3 or 4 times, and you're still doing it. So just for next time, get the stubbornness out. Give credit to your opponents. And this is not only for you, but like for anybody watching. If your opponent, let's say you go to a tournament, right? You never played a person before, or if you have, it's more reason to if you have played them. But if you play a person in tournament and they hard counter something that you do, like let's say that for example, right? If you do EX wall dive in most situations where online you do it and they just block or they get hit, or they don't counter it and nothing really happens from it. But if you fight someone that harsh counters it with something that totally shuts down that option, either change the way you do that option, like maybe go for the grab instead of the hit, or change the timing, change something about how you're doing it, right? If not, just give them credit. Give them credit for doing something good, because chances are, if they do something that's such a straight counter to what you just did, chances are it's not a fluke. And so if you go for that again, they're going to keep countering it over and over again until you die or run out of meter or whatever the situation is. Okay? So don't think they're stupid, or don't think that like, oh, it was just a fluke, it's just dumb luck. I can get it, I swear. Because I had this habit too. If you think that if your game plan is not working, so a lot of people, and including myself sometimes, get frustrated, and then so you don't know what to do. So typically, what your brain does is you go into autopilot, and you kind of just fall back into bad habits or like old habits that aren't efficient, and basically it turns into a one-player game, and you're not playing with your opponent anymore. You're just playing Street Fighter 5, survival mode. Okay.
Spain from Spain stays mainly in the corner.
Oh, and that V trigger, I don't like that V trigger. That was too. There was nothing he whiffed, and you just kind of wasted it for some damage. I know you're down on life, but I feel like maybe at this point you were getting a bit desperate. So I can understand, but just I know, and I know what I'm saying. It's hard. It's hard if you're going to tournaments and these are like your first ones. You have to you have to just be aware, and you have to not waste things. You know. Once you get rid of the habits, then you'll start seeing more success with these options that you're going for. Okay? Yeah, okay.
It's probably my webcam.
Yeah, slide was such a risky option too. That's super minus. I want to see you get rid of the slide stuff. It's just not. It hasn't been working for you. Oh, I went too far.
Swifty saying,
What a misclick.
he said, yo, you're main from Spain.
Okay, we're going a little bit back.
Bug Knight's taking.
Wait, how do you start this
We got
match?
this. We got
Okay,
this.
here we go. Okay, you're walking back and forth. You're kind of just waiting. I don't know what you're waiting for. Are you trying to? If you're trying to react to something, that's fine. But in this situation, if he's not really giving you anything, there's no harm in walking up and then just pressing medium punch with claw, just to see what he does. Because you build Grey Life and you build meter, which is helping you no matter what. If he's and you have, because on the ground you win this game. Okay, your normals and claw reach way further than Ken's stubby little arms and legs can go. He may be able to whiff punish you or crush counter you preemptively, but if you focus on mixing up your timing of your normals, and if you opt to whiff punish him or counter poke him, he can't really do anything. So just keep that in mind.
Here comes round two. Bug Knight's taking that one pretty soundly.
Yeah, I see you tried to whiff punish there. Now you're using Buster Claw.
Oh,
See, this is a little bit. It was a little bit better, but then he jumped in, and since you're waiting, I know you must have been focused on the ground, but think about the jumps. Like I learned this from Ceroblast, but every time, and I don't do this all the time, but basically when you're trying to like get your opponent to do something, every time you hit a button and it's blocked or hit, just think to yourself, jump. And then, because when you say that to yourself in your head, and then they do jump, you're more ready for it, and then you can, answer accordingly. Like, jump air throw, hard punch spin edge, crouch fierce if you're feeling risky, or roundhouse. Roundhouse is really good as well. Yeah, next time I don't want to see any rolls, okay? No light kick roll, please. Please. And none of that too. That was such a risky slide. It paid off. But again, see, he's checking you again. He got you again with the light kick. So basically, he's shut down your whole game. So light kick roll's not paying off anymore. Wall dives aren't effective. So you have to focus on what's working, right? Focus on the range, the stuff that you have that Ken doesn't, and how you're gonna win the set, right? You have to change your game plan. You have to have a backup plan, basically. If like they're not falling for this and this, then I have to go to this game plan and just play solid. Because if your gimmicks and stuff don't work, then you just have to play solid, which takes time to learn, which is fine. But just you have to realize that as well. Okay. Okay, good back throw. That was suspect. Okay.
Hey, Rob. Rob.
I know you tried to bait, but that was pretty far back. I thought there, because if you think about it, right, you weren't close enough to him to make a bait work. And not only that, like you were down on life, he had a big life lead, so you gotta be careful. Especially because he has critical art, and he had enough to finish you off if you whiffed it closer to him. So I would not have even gone for it. Especially because he shut down all your wall dive options so far.
You missed it, but I did actually beat Meat Crab tonight. Granted, he was drunk and not playing his main, but I beat Meat Crab.
Oh, he entered? Oh,
Out
wow.
of the
That was
air.
good.
This one's over.
Yeah, I think basically what it came down to is that he shut down all your, your tricks and stuff like that. And
That's
then,
all right. They can still be friends.
you kind of just almost fell apart, basically. And
Poor
that caused you to
Litebrite.
lose.
She shines so.
So, I mean, there were things that I liked a lot of I liked some of the ideas, but I think overall you know what to work on. And I think you realized yourself after the match. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Um, yeah, I'll start doing these more match analysis videos. Post them in the comment section. I'll try to review them or come to my stream and I'll let you know. But yeah, take care guys. Stay classy.